In this clip I want to show you a few ways that you should be setting up your Excel spreadsheets. This has some data from chapter number 3 where we're going to be doing some charting. And what I've done is I took the original format of the data, right-clicked on that, chose Move and Copy, create a copy, and I moved it to the end to make this duplicate copy just to show you what we'll have at the end of this. So anyways, first I'm going to go back to the original format. And for the most part, this looks just fine. We've got a title up at the top, and notice that they used merge and center to get the title across columns A, B, C, D, and E. They have 2016 expenses typed in, again using merge and center, so that's the correct way to set up titles. And also what you need to have is you should always have at least one blank row between your titles at the top and your field names, electric, gas, water, and monthly totals down below that. And I'll show you the reason why we're going to see that in just a minute. One thing that is missing is they probably should have put a field name here, say month, for instance, above the month values. Now down at the bottom we've got yearly totals, and in general it's always best to insert at least one blank row between your yearly totals and the last record in your data set, and I'll show you that in just a couple minutes about why you want to set that up. Alright, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this data, click on my Home tab, and then way over here to the right in the editing group we've got sort and filter. So I want to try to sort this a few different ways and just take a look at and see what happens to my spreadsheet. If I go to sort and filter and choose custom sort, it will allow me to sort on the various fields. Now notice I can sort on either column A or electric, gas, water, and monthly totals. So that column A in parentheses, that's why we really should have a field name, make it month, and do that. So what I'm going to do is I want to find out when was the highest monthly bill for electricity. And just looking through my spreadsheet here, I can just kind of eyeball it. I should get 115. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort this from largest to smallest, hit OK, and something kind of odd happened to my spreadsheet. I did get August near the top, but I also have this yearly totals way at the top. And the reason why that did that is, let me just undo my sort, is when I chose sort and custom sort, it assumes that I want all of this, and I really don't want to have in the yearly totals at the very bottom of it, so it doesn't select the correct data. So that's one of the problems that we had. Also, when I did sort, custom sort, and we'll do this by electric, notice what happened with my underlines. Suddenly December shows up here and it's still underlined, and really what I'm going to want is have that down at the bottom near the yearly totals. So a couple of problems that we have with this spreadsheet. Alright, so let's undo that and we'll leave the spreadsheet the way it originally was. Let's go and do a better format. So the better format, we said, is we want to type in the word month here. I'm going to grab these other field names, use my format painter, and format that so that way at least all the fields are sorted the same way. I'm going to come down to row number 17 for the yearly totals, right click on that, choose insert, and I insert a blank row. Now what I don't want to do is I don't want to underline the very last record, because conceivably what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert another 12 records here next year and put in the 2017 January through December records. So what I'm going to do then is change these yearly totals, change the format on this to putting the borders where I've got a top and double bottom border on it. And let's see, it looks like they must have put in some additional borders in here. Let's say we can just take all the borders off. It looks like maybe they have, I'm trying to see if they've got underline on it. There we go. We'll take underline off. And now let's try that one more time. And let's take this, and it looks like rather than having a border on December, they just use the underline, so we want to take that off and clean that up just a little bit. So that's a better way of setting up this format. So let's try this out. We'll save our work. We're going to sort this. Choose custom sort. Sort of by. And now you can see instead of column A, it says month or electric, gas, water, and monthly totals. So I want to choose by electric. I'm going to sort this largest to smallest. Hit OK. And we've got our data sorted properly. If we go back to sort, custom sort, and then I sort this by month, and let's sort this normally A to Z. We'll hit OK, and we kind of run into a problem because my months, I want to have January show up first and December show up last. So when I do the sorting on the months, I can choose custom sort, and what I need to do is do a custom list. Excel might have a few of these lists in here. So for example, they've got one January, February, March, etc. Or you might have to manually create this yourself. So I'll hit OK and OK, and that way we can get our data sorted back in the original order. So there's just a few things that you should do whenever you're setting up your spreadsheets. Always include a blank row between your titles and field names, and put in a blank row at the last one. Finally, for the yearly totals. The yearly totals give me everything from B5 through B16. What's a better idea is to actually change this where we type in equals sum, a parenthesis, and I want to include actually the field name and all the way down to this blank row at the bottom. So I'm taking B4 to B17 rather than B5 to B16. Type in my right parenthesis, hit enter. We get the same totals, so that works just fine. But the advantage is if I insert some new months, say I get January, February, and March for the next year, insert that. We'll type in Jan 2017, Feb 2017, and March 2017. And we could make up some numbers here, 60, 70, and 80. You can see that my totals suddenly change. Oops, I guess I made it a little bit too big, so I've got to widen out my column here. So if I double click between the B and the C, it will automatically adjust that. And I've got the new yearly total. So I'm going to delete these 3 rows, click on the first cell, hold my shift key down to 19, right click on it, choose delete, and we're back to what we originally started with. Hit Control Home. One last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to cell A5 because I want to lock in the first 4 rows. Click on View, click on Freeze Panes, and Freeze Panes. So that way, if we have more monthly totals or months entered in here, you can still read those field names up at the top. So then I'll hit Control Home. It takes me to wherever I froze the panes in cell A5, and we should be set. So we'll save this work, and I encourage you to do that on all of your spreadsheets.